been telling you all for a long time that these influencers are out there putting fake content together. They're lying about what they're actually doing in their videos. And now we have a bit of proof to talk through today. So I'm going to take you through that. I'm going to take you through why I think, it's a little bit bad for the hobby, why it's not a good look for some kids. And if it's being faked in this area, it's probably being faked elsewhere. I'll then also link it to a pretty interesting video that Flipping Steve put out the other day that I think ties to this pretty well. Dappz is going to be talked about. The Great Curator is going to be talked about in a lot of detail. So please, stay tuned for the whole thing and hear me out. Now, if you weren't aware, Dappz Sports, he's got his YouTube channel now with his 44,000 paid for bought subscribers. FYI, if you don't know why we know that, it's because he only has, 800 views or a couple of hundred views per video. It's pretty easy to spot on Social Blade as well. But essentially, he did something that was pretty interesting. I thought it was a good effort from him in the sense that they wanted to do a pack battle, which is done by everyone now in the hobby. But the way they did things differently was they each put forward a $1,000 to $2,000 card in the table. They did a pack battle. Whoever got the best cards in that pack won all 4 of those PSA slabs that they put in. Now, this was interesting because when you watch it again, it wasn't really done too well. It's a bit awkward at times. It probably went for about 5 or 6 minutes too long, but something felt off about the whole video. And essentially what occurred off the back of this was that the Great Curator put in a card that he said was worth $1,000 to $2,000, right? It was a Killmonger purple PMG, Michael B. Jordan. And he copped a lot of hate on the internet for this, right? A lot of people came out and said, what are you talking about, mate? You can buy raw copies for $25. PSA 9 sell for around $25 as well. How the heck did you do this with your card that you put in? Because his Killmonger was a PSA 10. And it goes to a lot of the issues and things that people take umbrage to that the Great Curator does, right? He cops so much hate, right? And he cops so much hate to the point that in his live yesterday, he basically let the cat out of the bag and said, you know what, guys, this was all fake. It was all for the cameras. We basically did it to try and create some entertainment for you all.
Is this true?
No, it's not true. I'll pull back the curtain. It was staged, guys. Okay, it was just.
Oh, that was last week in Dallas.
Yes, we're joking. Gotcha. Okay, I'm popping.
I was worried.
I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm shattering the glass. It was all staged. Okay.
And there's a few things on that, and this goes to a few things I want to talk about, right? Because this perception, because it's happening even from something as a pack battle perspective, who's to say, and I think you're a little naive if you think it's not happening when it comes to deals as well. But from my perspective, I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I've been telling you for over 12 months, that these guys are putting fake content together purely for entertainment. You can see this here. When you're watching these card show vlogs, when you're watching these TikToks and these shorts, just keep in mind that chances are a lot of these deals you're seeing in those 30 seconds are probably fake, And also, I'm not overly surprised to see this on Dappz's channel, given that he's one of those guys from TikTok, from Vines. He does stuff like this in the past.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one. You want one? You want a bump? You want to get one? You don't got to do a line. You can just do a bump. You know that 79% of money in the United States has traces of cocaine on it.
Are you okay?
I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good.
Now, again, that might be a little bit crude for some of you, but it is entertainment at the end of the day. These guys can do what they want. The concern here goes to what Flipping Steve talked about in his video the other day. Now, it was a really, really good video. He did it from his car on his way to work, which I thought was pretty cool. But he talked through, a few life lessons and some things that, his grandfather taught him when he was growing up, how if you want to be successful in life, things are hard, nothing in life comes easy to you. And he used a few examples with some of these influencers. I think he mentioned Roth Cards, or he may not have mentioned that name, but I think people did in the comments of his video around them giving the wrong message to young kids in the hobby, right? There was a video, I think it was Roth in it, where a kid came up to him and talked silently about making a good profit, something along those lines. And Roth basically used the message as saying, you know what, see, making money in cards is easy. Just buy some cards and sell them. And how you as an influencer, or he took umbrage to an extent, I want to say that these influencers, as I've said before as well, don't understand that they have a responsibility to their viewers, right? They don't understand they've got a responsibility as a role model to these kids to tell them and to keep them on the right track. Flipping cards is not easy. It's hard. Yes, some things can be good, but the messaging in that situation should have been, okay, you did really, really well there. This is not the normal, right? This does not happen. It's a lot of work to sell cards. You only see me selling cards in my card show vlog, and it makes me look like I'm doing really well, but there's a lot of work that goes into the back end. So you did really well, but you also need to keep in mind that all these other things need to be going on in the background. It's not easy. It's hard work. If you put the hard work in, you'll be successful. That's the messaging. And when I see videos like this, along with the assumption that these are also happening with some of these fake deals, right? That is a poor message to be setting to people. These guys need to understand they have a responsibility. It's similar to when we've talked about Mojo Sports in the past, right? Where he's talked about Mark's cards and he praised them and supported them as a business.
Man, I'm happy. You know, Mike deserves this. This is family. This is fun. This is friendly. This is professional. Mike's got to do this quarterly. And, you know, he told me there hasn't been a shop here in 15 years. And you know what that tells me is Mike's about the community. And I love that, you know. I'm happy for you guys, the whole team at Marks. You guys are going to do amazing things. The sky's the limit.
When he didn't probably really know about them or what was happening on in the back end, because he wouldn't have supported them if he knew they were dodging people's, you know, PSA slabs and trying to rort them, so on and so forth, using their money to pay their own bills rather than their PSA slabs. He wouldn't have done that. He understands he's got a responsibility now. He does a little bit better in that space. But when you're seeing videos like this that are purely faked, as the Great Curator said, purely for entertainment, and then kids see this and want to replicate it or act on the back of it because they're seeing it work for these people, that's not a good look, right? I'm all for, you know, not pulling the veil or keeping the veil over people's eyes, I want to say, because it is fun, it is entertainment, but you need to make these things a little bit more upfront and transparent to an extent for some people, right? To make sure these kids are not getting burned. And some of you might say, well, how do you know, things are happening with card show deals as well? Well, there's a few examples. I'm not going to name names, right? But there are some influencers out there, which, you know, in my group of friends that we've pretty clearly determined when they've said they've bought cards from a specific dealer, and these are PSA slabs, so they can be verified, and they've said they've bought them on camera, yet then we still see that same seller owning those cards and selling them either at later card shows or on their eBay store. What gives, right? And because it's happening here, it's a little naive or ignorant to assume it's not happening elsewhere within the hobby. Now, again, I can see past that. I'm an adult. I don't really buy into what I see. I tell you guys that all the time, even with the stuff I tell you. Don't believe everything that I say, even though I am being truthful. You guys don't know me, so don't buy into that completely, right? You don't know these guys you're seeing on camera. The kids don't know these guys. They don't know the full story. They don't know everything that is happening. So when they're painting this picture where everything is all good and everything is easy work and everything comes to you easy, it creates some pitfalls down the line that I'm very concerned about some people falling into, specifically kids. I think it was a bit disappointing. I've got a lot of things I'm disappointed with the Great Curator about, but I wasn't overly impressed that he pulled the veil back. Like, it's like, cool, he said it so I can make this video. But if I was one of these other guys, I wouldn't want to make I wouldn't want to make content with him anymore, right? Because it's sort of ruins the fun. It's spoiled the situation for the people that do see this and actually think it's real and it's what's actually happening. Because now people are going to say, well, Dappz, Mojo Sports, Prizm Gawd, you did these things, but you lied to me, you said it was real, you made it out like it was real. How do I know which of your reactions are genuine moving forward? You then ask all these questions. It goes back to, professional wrestling. Nobody wants to see a heel come out and say wrestling's fake, right? Because then it just ruins the whole show. It's like, we know it's fake. Don't tell me that it's fake. It ruins the situation. I just think it was a very poor thing for the Great Curator to do, and I think it's pretty clear, or at least from my perspective, that he's come out and said it and ruined it for Dappz, because it's on Dappz's channel, whether you like Dappz or not. He's ruined it for Dappz. He's now made Mojo look poor. He's made Prizm Gawd look poor, purely because he was trying to save face on him saying that this Killmonger card was worth significantly more than what it actually is. And when people have raised questions about that Killmonger card, he's blocked them like he always does, and I think it's very disappointing. Like, there's nothing wrong with having open discussion. He could have come out and said, you know what, guys, I priced it for XYZ reason. This is why I said it was worth $1 or $2 grand. But no, he's blocked you to try and hide from the fact that you guys are trolls and you don't know what you're talking about. And then he's ratted on the rest of the guys and ruined it for them as well. I think it's a pretty poor form, in my opinion. I'm really keen to get your thoughts on this situation. I think you should go ahead and watch Flipping Steve's video, either before or after you've seen mine, whichever it is. Obviously, you don't know to watch it if you don't know what it is, right? You've learned it from me. But go watch it, because I think it ties to exactly what we've seen in this video. It is not just an issue for these guys to tell kids that it's easy to make money in sports cards. You need to explain the detail. You need to explain the grind, like Sports Card Radio are telling you right now. Look how much pushback those guys are getting for flipping low-value cards. If you want to be a dealer long-term in this hobby, low-value cards is how you remain sustainable. Any dealer will tell you that. Things are not easy. Things aren't all roses and rainbows, right? It is hard work. You put in the hard work, you will be successful. We don't want to push kids away or push people away from saying the hobby is too hard. It's hard, but if you want to be successful in it, people will support you. You've got friends and so on and so forth. So many resources to guide you through the process. The point is, don't say it's easy. Don't put out videos like this making kids think life is easy in the hobby. Yes, it's fun. Yes, your stuff is entertainment, but you've got a responsibility to the people that are watching. And unfortunately, not enough, influencers out there, content creators, keep that front of mind. They all care about the bag, and I shouldn't say all, a lot care about the bag. You should care about your viewers, right? Because they're the only reason why you are relevant in the first place. And if you continue to lie to them, you continue to alienate them, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. So apologies if I've talked for too long. I hope you liked the video. I think it was pretty interesting. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the whole situation, or if you've got anything else to add. I appreciate you as always, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.